for Adventures in Movies is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for all of your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Don't have to take my word for it. You can get 20% off and free shipping with the code AIP20 at manscaped.com. That's right. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com if you use the code AIPT20. Before you left, remember we had talked about the humidity. There's been some changes since you've been gone. So before you left, remember we would always talk about the humidity around here.
Yeah.
So that hasn't changed at all, unfortunately. And that's led to some pretty bad problems for me. Like, sometimes I kick funk like an old shoe down there. You know what I mean?
Ripe, you might say.
Very much so. Very much so. So I have actually started using Manscaped's crop preserver.
Oh.
You know what? It works. All you have to do, take a shower, then you towel off your goodies till they're good and dry. Then you rub a small amount of the crop preserver onto your nether regions down there. You can rub it a little bit around other parts if you want. You might want to taste it a little bit. It's not too bad. I'm not going to lie. I gave it a shot. But I have received many compliments since I started using it. They've all been from me, but it works. I am letting you know. Did you get all of that, Danny?
Yes. I just want to say that I used it. I just used it during my first week of fathership, and I just would say this: my balls are as smooth as my baby's bottom.
Ooh, that's
what an endorsement!
Well, that's the best endorsement.
I'm just saying. If you want your balls to be as smooth as a baby's bottom, I highly recommend Manscaped.
I can tell the difference from here, boys.
And he's not just across a state; he's across the state of Texas. So that's like being across 3 states from me, and he can tell the difference. So there you go, AIPT20 Manscaped.com. Check it out. Anyway, so it's midway through the year, and usually in June is a great time to talk about what happened the first half of the year, the best, worst, underrated, overrated, all that good stuff. But what the hell's the point in doing that this year? So we decided, in honor of Danny, because I don't know if anybody caught his subtle hints, he recently became a father.
Nathaniel.
Congratulations to Danny. And our way of congratulating Danny was to not at all let him pick this week's topic and do a show based on dads in movies. And one of the things we want to talk about is some of the best dads in movies. And before any of you say it, and I don't know if Danny, you haven't had the time to think about it, and Blake, I don't know if you did ask about him last week. Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird is without a doubt the best father in all of fiction, not just movies.
The best?
The best? I don't
he's got it all, man. He's got it all. He's got principles. He stands up. Awesome hero. I mean,
stands up for the small guy.
Stands up for the underdog against unbelievable odds. He does what's right. Yeah. A single father in a time when that's unthinkable. I like this guy so much that my original Twitter name was Atticus Finch.
It was. That is right. That is right.
Huge fan of Mr. Finch, but you guys, it sounds like you might not agree entirely with me.
Ooh. No, that's an amazing pick. That's a really good pick. That's a great pick. It's got class. It's got style. Mine does not.
Nice.
My pick for favorite dad, I think I'm gonna have to go with 1983's. Well, this is the beginning. Harold Ramis, National Lampoon's Vacation. One Clark Griswold.
Nice.
Few fathers can put their family through what Clark Griswold puts his family through, yet they love him. They always come back to him. And fewer portrayals of like family interaction, which while overblown, completely accurate.
This is true. Hey, and let's face it. He is a good father. He doesn't
He
get it
is.
right, but
No,
he
tries.
always he's trying to get the bonus checks. He's trying to take them on the road trip, the European vacations. I mean, even though they won that on the game show, but
Piggly
he's
Wiggly. or whatever.
Igley. I mean, the dude's he's as fathers go, and you're right, exaggerated comedic situations, but at its core, very seriously, he is trying to be a good father, and he's not a bad man.
No.
Chevy Chase is a horrible
Chevy
person,
Chase is a giant piece of shit.
but that's just Blake, not a father. My parents were divorced at a young age. Danny, you actually are a father, so you might be able to provide real, true, proper insight into
Oh
this.
man, this is so stupid because I was gonna argue with your Atticus. I was like, well, you have, but now I don't know if we're choosing movies now, but I'm gonna say Alfred Pennyworth. Uh,
Oh,
Oh,
bro.
father
Excellent.
figure. Yeah, I was gonna go
yeah,
with that was gonna be a separate question, but you dove right in, and that's cool.
Ooh.
That's a good
yeah.
one.
I mean, so I mean, he's not he's an adopted father to the world's biggest brat, and he heals him. He's snarky. He provides for him. He's like the world's greatest like dad. I. I don't know what other father until you said like you gave all the points for Atticus and even like um Griswold, they all have their flaws, and I feel like even as Alfred has his faults as well. But I feel like that like he stepped up essentially, like like he didn't have to take care of Bruce Wayne, and eventually he did, to make the man, Bruce Wayne. And I really do think I think Alfred is a good one.
He
That's a great pick.
absolutely is. That's a really good. And for I can't. You guys should be ashamed. Neither of you mentioned Uncle Buck.
Oh,
I
Uncle Buck
mean,
is on my Uncle.
Uncle, see, I don't even have a list to go through. This is all a surprise for me,
Yeah,
and
it
I
should have been the
I
love.
first
have
thing you said, Uncle
I
Buck.
have Uncle Buck
Shut
here.
up,
Yeah, it should have been.
motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You know what's funny is well, now I don't care. I truly do say that Uncle Buck is a great movie and he's a great father figure. But in high school, growing up, a really close friend of mine now, actually still to this day, but his favorite movie was Uncle Buck, and I would always make fun of him for it. Oh, I just thought he was an asshole for like thinking Uncle
Oh,
Buck was
that's
his
hilarious.
favorite.
I also really love The Great Outdoors. Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, and that's like also kind of a dad movie for sure. And
I
I love The Great Outdoors and
I
Uncle Buck.
like I like Summer Rental, and that's
Summer
again
Rental.
that's another like John Candy where he's trying to like just give it all for their family, and things go
Damn,
wrong too.
85.
Yeah,
Man,
it
the
was
cover of this movie VHS is amazing.
for Summer Rental.
Summer Rental.
I really enjoyed that film a lot. Like Uncle Buck and Summer Rental are like top notch films for me.
What about Liam Neeson from Taken?
Taken? Yeah.
Yeah, now that's a
Yeah,
dad.
that's a
That's a
dad.
hardcore dad.
Yeah.
That's a fucking hardcore dad. You know, it's one of my favorite dad movies, and it's basically just a dad losing his fucking mind through the whole thing. What about Bob?
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
dude.
Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray.
Murray, yeah.
It is, and I think they ended up actually hating each other by the end of filming of that movie, and I think they still hate each other. So I think that translates across the screen, and it's pretty cool.
Now that's some method acting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Danny, I know you're gonna do things your own way, which every father should. But which movie father will you pull elements from?
it's so stupid that like there's a lot of things that I want to do, and I just want to raise her right, but I want to do a little bit of like Anakin, like I whine a lot, a little bit of Homer, where I'm just gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
just
plenty of
Oh,
dough.
Homer's
There's
such a
gonna be
good
lots of
one.
those going
Yeah,
around.
yeah, and
yeah.
and a little bit of like Seth Rogen in Neighbors, um, because he's a father figure in that one, and he's just trying to do everything right for his daughter, in that movie too. And I feel like I want to do everything right, but who knows if there's gonna be a frat living next to me, where
Well,
today.
then you'll be Viggo Mortensen from The Road.
Ooh. Oh, fuck.
That's
That's a good one
so
too.
sad. He is a good father. He is a good father.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, I guess. Um, if and when Blake, you have some spawn, you let loose on the world, who would you kind of pattern yourself after?
Oh, well, I'm gonna shave my beard and just have a mustache, and I'm gonna be Tom Selleck from
You're
Green
gonna be one of
Baby.
the three. He might be
Yes.
number one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's a good one. Fuck.
I think he's got a great dad look, high 80s. Uh,
Great dad.
I mean, if I picture myself as a dad, I prefer to picture myself as Tom Selleck.
Well, I mean, fuck.
Of those three, okay, so I guess we can all agree that Steve Gutenberg is out.
Ah, get that. Yeah, fuck no.
Yeah.
You know, it is between Selleck and Danson, and at the time that it came out, I would have gone with Selleck. But over the years, 'cause I used to think that Ted Danson was a douche, but after watching the past few seasons of the last few seasons of Cheers, and seeing him on Curb Your Enthusiasm, I mean, he does have a self-deprecating sense of humor, which I never
Yes.
thought he had. And I think I would go with Ted Danson.
Damn, fucking Tom
Yeah.
Selleck was Magnum PI and Quigley
Yeah.
Down Under.
He's also Blue Blood.
Yeah. Yeah, and he fucking Monica fell in love with him from Friends. I mean, it was. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. Whereas Ted Danson kind of just lived on the Sam Malone fame for
Yeah,
the majority of his
30 years.
Well, I just recently finished the Sopranos. So, and Blake, you asked me what I would think of the ending, and I saw it again. So, watching it, this is only the second time I've ever seen the ending, and I liked it even more than I did the first. It is so amazingly tense. Like,
Yep.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was in tears, knowing what was going to happen. I was in tears the last like 10 minutes. Just it's so tense. It ties your stomach up in knots. It's
So, did you hear the who's the showrunner? Who's the guy? Who's the creator and showrunner of that?
David Chase.
David Chase. So they were all like, it leaked in like some kind of video call he was doing recently during COVID. They were talking about that final scene, and he just let it slip. He goes, "Yeah, so the death scene." So he basically said it. Like he finally cleared the air and
And
said,
that kind
"Yes,
You know how I
yes."
took it as I was watching it this time, because the first time I obviously didn't know what was going to happen, and then afterwards you're kind of like, what the fuck? But this time I was taking it as like, and you know what? I still think you can take it however you want to take
I
it.
think
But
so too.
I was taking it as this is this dude's life. Like for the past 7 years, we've only seen like the good side of it. Like I
Right,
mean, he's doing fucked up shit because he's in the mob or whatever. But like,
right.
he's living rich. He's sleeping with all these chicks. He's eating fine food and all that, multiple homes and stuff. But we don't ever see and then we see him when he goes to his therapist. We see that panic side of it. But the last few minutes of The Sopranos, like the last two episodes, is when things are going down with New York. But those last 10 minutes, like when every single sound he hears, he's just looking up, and then the bell keeps ringing when the door opens, and he's constantly looking up, and that's his life. Like
Yeah.
that is his life, and
No
you feel
peace,
really
really. Yeah.
nothing ever, never, ever, 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 and it's really sad. It's really sad, but he's a good father. Oh, Danny, so you kind of broached this subject earlier, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Uh-huh.
What's the first movie you're going to force your daughter to watch? So 20, 30 years down the road, she can tell a group of her friends, my dad forced me to watch this.
We were gonna buy her some Star Wars onesies, and honestly, I think you gotta start with the classics. And I don't know what that's gonna be, but it's gonna be something that I think I enjoyed in the 80s. I think I have like a
Best Little
cartoon.
Whorehouse in Texas. Do that one.
I was gonna do Exorcist, but yeah, I guess that's better. I think I want to do a Disney movie for like a musical, I think, but I'm still like torn like between like Robin Hood and
Oh yeah, you got to go way back.
yeah, and that's I think where I want to start like I guess like
Sleeping
do
Beauty, dude.
oh dude that's so good. That's one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
But I honestly I don't know. Like I and that's I don't know if that's a cop out, but I feel like I want to do like the big films that I could think of that I really enjoyed as a kid, and then yeah, like for sure, like hey you can't go until So you finish this fucking movie now. This
And
is
your knees.
Just prepare yourself. Prepare yourself now because it's obvious what direction it's going in, but she may very well end up not being a Star Wars fan.
Hey, that's fine with me. Fine with me. If she has, if she loves, God forbid, like something terrible. I can't think of any terrible movies right now. I
Uncle
mean,
Buck.
Uncle. If she hates Uncle Buck, right? Like, if she hates it in 30 years, I'm sending her away. I'm disowning her.
Well, in 30 years, she'll be a grown woman. And
I was gonna say if you have the
issue,
if you have the issue of having to send her away, then that's a whole different story. What if she comes to you in 15, 20 years and she's like, I just saw the greatest classic movie ever, Butt Boy.
And we'll have a discussion, and I probably won't remember it because 18 years from now, like, fuck, what the fuck were we doing?
You're gonna be that old, dude. That's not that
I know you're gonna be super young.
How old am I? I'm 30.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Boom, boom.